Okay, is my microphone working now? Perfect. Alright guys, let's see what's happened. The Trump administration has recently instructed schools and universities to revert the Title IX policies established during Trump's first term in office. These changes include requiring live hearings for sexual misconduct cases, with lawyers present. They're going to turn every single sexual misconduct case into a legal proceeding, which will not only make it just as useless, but also make it take a lot longer, allowing cross-examination of accusers, which means they're going to look into the past of every person who's been sexually abused and use that to justify why they deserve it. Narrowing the definition of sexual harassment. I'm going to leave that one there. Limiting the scope of cases schools must address. So the schools are no longer required to look into every sexual misconduct allegation. Reducing liabilities for colleges in sexual misconduct cases. Oh, that means that when colleges have sexual assaults and rapes, they don't even get punished. That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Yeah. And what else is new? What else is new? I got a rant. And while I'm ranting, I got my calendar here. I'm gonna write down all of the quiz dates for my classes because I have to. If I don't, then I have a chance of getting, caught off guard. And as a college student, it's my responsibility to make sure that I know everything that's supposed to happen here, because I actually just got caught off guard for my first test. This week, I had a test, and I got a friggin' C+ on it because I didn't know it was happening, and I can't even blame anybody else. It's my own dang fault. Okay. He tried to freeze all federal funding throughout the entire United States. He's got you want to know something else? Apparently, all the robber barons of the world were betting on a stock market crash. You can verify that. I want you to go verify that. Stock market crash bet right now, please. I beg of you. So the reason that Trump decided to crash the dang stock market for a day before he rescinded his nonsense is definitely so his little friends can make $10 billion off of it. If anybody who's typing in chat right now, I'm sorry, I cannot see you. $10 billion that they've made by crashing the stock market just because they were betting on it. I guarantee that was just another stupid scam. Oh, I'm gonna throw these tariffs on. Okay, I'm gonna throw some tariffs on you if you throw tariffs on me. And then, Canada agreed to put some troops here. They were already doing that since 2021, but because they're doing that, I'm not gonna tariff anymore. And Mexico, they were doing this in 2024, but I'm gonna go ahead and pretend that I did something. All right. That's the kind of reality that we're living in. Module 3, where are my quizzes? I have to do quiz, Chapter 5 homework, Chapter 5 quiz. All assignments due by 2/9. Yeah, makes sense. E, H, and W. Assignments. We have to do a quiz every single week, that's fine. I was really just looking for the midterm. The final exam is April 13th. Module 3. And Module 4, okay. I'm just gonna do this month. I don't even need anything else. I just want this month. Here to politics. They're trying to erase USAID as well as the entire Department of Education. And that won't affect us as much, but everybody would be hit by that. You know why? Because the Department of Education funds our freaking schools. I don't live in a dang welfare state that needs federal funding to survive, but Tennessee, Arkansas, New Mexico, Mississippi, and all the other friends who need that money to fund their schools, their public school systems are probably just going to get shut down or reduced to nothing. That's their goal. And Republicans have been trying to do that for a long time, but now because of our stupid government system that that ineffectively limits the power of the executive branch, they actually have a chance. That's one of the major flaws in our system of government. And if you don't understand how other governments are formulated, such as the UK or Mexico, other democracies, full democracies, although Mexico was ran by one party until 2000, since then they've made huge strides towards democracy. And I really think that you guys should look into it. Us as adults, unfortunately, I can say that we have failed. The adults have failed. I want to reiterate the first thing that I said. The children in our schools, K through 12, and the universities who get raped now will have even less of a chance to get justice. And meanwhile, 9 out of 10 of them were already completely thrown out because of lack of evidence. 90%. It used to be 98%, then Me Too happened, and it got a little bit better. But now there are just less consequences altogether, and it's harder to achieve them than it was in a system that already cannot verify. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's what happens when you vote for a rapist. I feel bad for every Trump voter who has a daughter. Every Trump voter who has a daughter. Actually, no. I can't even say they have to live with it. You know why? Because they don't know. All of our political and governmental records, they are public knowledge. They're able to be looked at by anybody, but nobody's gonna know about this. Why? Because they look at their stupid TV and their friggin' social media for all of the information that they do. Paper prospectus. None. Nobody's gonna know. The mainstream media is not gonna say anything because they're bought and paid. So, yeah, I hope you guys are happy about that. Not you guys. You guys are children. Anybody watching this is probably under 18 and can't, and this is gonna affect them, but they literally can't do anything about it because you guys have no representation. So that sucks. You guys are at school right now anyway, so you're not gonna be able to see this until after you get out. But it just makes me angry because this is gonna affect you guys. Imagine somebody wakes up one day and decides, you know what? I think that we are way too hard on rapists. And it doesn't even just affect the students. That's the hard part. It affects the institutions as a whole, which means that the adults who go in and sexually assault these students are also gonna not be held accountable. And it's one thing to have a justice system that fails. Our justice system already fails to achieve that. It's terrible. Our justice system is horrible at protecting women in general, but now it's in our public records that the United States wants our children, our boys and our girls, to be raped with fewer consequences, and that's now on America's record. I love that. No, I don't. Nobody can love that. Part of me wants to just jump ship and move to the UK, because they're actually making better progress than us right now. In every way but economically. Because for the last 4 years, the only thing that Americans have complained about was the economy. Meanwhile, we were literally at the top of the world. We weren't like South America, where the inflation could literally fluctuate 15% in a single day. We weren't like the rest of the G7, the European countries, who were flooding due to just a few little Russian tariffs. They were drowning in their own insecurity. Meanwhile, not only did our administration work to reduce the strain of the pandemic that a lot of them were stuck in until 22, But after we reopened our nation, they even made legislation specifically aimed to building us back up. The Build Back America Act, Build Back Better Act never passed because the Republicans. We would have had infrastructure like never seen before, but Republicans just lived to block everything. But we did get the Inflation Reduction Act passed. Literally, legislation on our record going towards a problem that we, as Americans, had to suffer less than anybody else in the entire world. And yet they all just cried about the economy. Meanwhile, the stock market crashed, as well as 2 frickin' planes in the past week. But nobody's gonna complain. Nobody. All of the competent people are just looking at the world, as the nation right now, as if it is a comic book, because that's all it is. And I'm not talking about people who didn't vote. The adults who decided not to use their voice and vote, which is literally the one right that Americans are told to not take for granted, I'm not including them in the competent people. And some people are going to look at me like, dang, Jamil, you want to be a politician and you're speaking like that about your constituents? Yes, because why the hell are you not voting as an adult? It's one thing if you live in Wisconsin or Michigan or Georgia, because their votes were suppressed. There were 3 million votes that were suppressed in those states. And if not for voter suppression, which the Republicans have been pushing for ages and are trying to implement in their policies now, if not for that voter suppression, a lot of people would have had their voices heard. 3 million who didn't. But a lot of people did have their voices heard, and that's the thing. America has the opportunity to come back from this. We have a chance to come back from this, and it's not bad. Our system works in which the balance of powers is only sustained if the other branches are able to hold the executive branch accountable, and right now they are not because they're filled with loyalists. That's the reason why you see so many attempts made by these people to dismantle our democracy, because the other 2 branches have been allowed to be filled with these people that are literally in a personality cult. Literally, in a personality cult. The entire party is revolved around one person. That is how democracy dies. But the Democrats didn't fight by preventing this nonsense from happening. They just trusted the norms. Yes, political norms are required to maintain democracy, but that's not always how it happens. Some people don't want to maintain democracy, they want to do this. And if they're rich, it makes it that much easier. That's why we're here. It's not because this person was gaining popularity over a few years. It's not because they it's not because they made some revolution. It's just because he was rich. He was fed a silver spoon from birth, just like all of his little friends. And now they're using the power that they were born with through circumstance alone, no luck, no skill, nothing, as an excuse for them to rule the government. They had a chance to stop it, are real politicians, but they just rolled over and died, and even now they're not doing jack. So things are looking bleak. Although, again, we have a chance to make it out of this just fine. The problem with that is that the framework, the political division that led to this happening, it's just not going to exist. All these people who allowed this to happen, they are still going to be here. And they're still going to have these same horrible, xenophobic, disgusting mentalities that forced this person into prominence. So sorry. It looks like we're always going to have opposition. Regular people who have brains in their heads are always going to be combated by the people who call facts fake news. That's why they're attacking the education system. Because educated people are hard to control. And they've been doing that forever, mind you. It's not a new thing, it's not something that was suppressed. Because the competent people, both Democrats and Republicans, decided to roll over and let these people gain popularity. They were able to buy their way into seats of power. And Elon Musk, he's not a cabinet member. He was not approved or confirmed by anyone. He's literally just a person who waltzed into a position of influence because he has money. Trump was the last person that he endorsed. People seem to forget about that. He did not endorse Trump at the beginning of this stupid election, but because he did, we've got a whole friggin' imperialist living in the White House. Well, outside of the White House now, but great influence. That's the reason why Donald Trump has recently turned to imperialism. We're gonna take over the Gaza Strip. Yeah, okay, good luck with that. We're gonna take over Greenland. We're gonna take over Canada. We're gonna go after Panama. And if they don't want to rename the Panama Canal, we're going to force them to. No, you're not. Honestly, it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing for all Americans to do this, to be dealing with this. But again, there are people in our beautiful democracy who just saw this, and because of their own insolence, allowed it to happen. It's not even a matter of sorry, I had to write this down. There we go. It's not even a matter of politicians being a problem, because we as Americans have failed our people by not allowing them to have access into the real intentions of their government. And in this case, it's a little bit nuanced, because there are plenty of people who know and understand what these people represent and then support them because they represent that too. I'm talking about the Nazis. Nazi ideology is way more popular in the United States than anywhere else, including Germany, of course. So those people, the Nazis, heck, the Ku Klux Klan, one of their branches is literally handing out paper advertising their meetings in Kentucky, so that's nice. Those people have a reason to support the people who want civil rights erased. And on paper, civil rights have basically been nullified. It's going to affect a lot of people, don't get me wrong, because civil rights were the only way the people were on a reasonable playing field. Affirmative action is the only reason that white women have been able to close the gap in education and the workforce. They've always been the most populous group, but somehow white women are the ones who forget that since the beginning of affirmative action, they are the demographic that gets the most benefit because they are women. Women are a marginalized group, and they've been pushed so far. They are the more educated gender, albeit not by much, but they still are, and yet they've had so many obstacles just trying to close the gap between skilled workers and between skilled work and underpayment in similar fields to men. They were just finally gaining, and now everything's gonna fall apart. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure white women are still gonna be uplifted beyond everyone else, but they're becoming more lenient on rape in the schools. The women are not. The women are definitely gonna suffer. The women are going to suffer. That's just a fact. Like, you can be one of these weird fake news MAGA people. It's like, ooh, everything that I don't like doesn't actually exist. Verifiable empirical data? Oh my lord, what's that? But it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna change the fact that it's true. That's the thing that a lot of people in America don't understand. They get their facts from social media, and social media is not meant to be factual. It's meant to be escape. Instead of going on there and trying to escape their daily lives, they use it to form their identities. And that's the reason why so many people suffer as a result of something that should be used to bring everyone together. And yes, I am 100% blaming social media for the fact that these last 2 weeks have been ridiculous. It's been 2 weeks. I just want to remind everybody of that. It's been 2 weeks. Oh God. We've had at least two executive orders that were straight unconstitutional. We've had we've had the richest man in the world and six people who are 18 to 24 years old, literal college students, who he hired out of nowhere to go into the U.S. Treasury and access information that should only be available to the proper intelligence organizations. Our social security numbers, our spending, our incomes, everything. They're six people, 19 to 24, and the richest man in the world. Those are the people who are just staring at our documents like, look at this person, this, and they have access to that, not only the information, but they have the technical wherewithal to funnel that money wherever they want. And that's exactly what they're doing since the beginning. Every single poll showed that Harris was going to win until the money shifted. And when the money shifted, suddenly you have all these... You literally have a bunch of thrown out votes. Unfortunately, they're still investigating it, so I can't... So I'm not going to say it as if I can verify it, because I can't. You can see the amount of votes that were thrown out, and obviously in those swing states, it was substantial. It was several million, but you can't. But you have to look deeper to confirm that it was because of voter suppression, specifically in minority communities. And the facts are the immediate dismantling of civil rights. And, of course, our intelligence agencies, because he's, again, illegally fired copious FBI agents. That's obviously trying to suppress the ability to look into this. Not to mention the fact that his billionaire friends did invest into the stock market crashing, and they gained so much money from the fact that the stock market did crash. The person that he hired to be in control of, what was it, the CFA? Ah, man, I gotta get the name again. There is literally a sector of government that is dedicated to looking at these robber barons and trying to fight their scams. And what do you think that Donald Trump did as soon as he got into office? He took one of his billionaire friends and threw him in the position of running that. And then that billionaire friend shut down the whole thing. Literally said, you are not capable of probing anything, investigating anything, nothing. And that was right before he decided to crash the stock market. That's the reason why there is literally no doubt that they crashed the stock market, potentially hurting millions of Americans. And I'm not even going to talk about the stupid meme coin. I'm not going to talk about the meme coin, but it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous that Americans have been so accustomed to entitlement that they don't understand basic... What's the word? We don't seem to grasp basic competence anymore. There just seems to be no actual... I hate that all these things were due before I even joined this class, but I digress. People were so focused on the fact that they didn't get what they thought they deserved that somehow it turned from their own discontent into wanting to hurt other people. And that's the part of that mindset that I don't understand. How can you even rally somebody behind the idea that you're going to punish some random marginalized group of people, as if that's somehow going to make their lives any better? Like, I understand you might be dissatisfied with the state of the government or how fast things are moving, but why exactly would you work to make sure that the people who are literally stopping the government from making progress, because that's the entire goal of the party, why would you work with those people if you want something to change? Yeah, things are going to change. Things are changing pretty fast. We haven't had a single plane crash in decades. We've had 2 in the last week. That's changed. Ain't that beautiful? 90% of air traffic control centers were already understaffed, and then this man came in and decided, you know what? Those last 10% that are actually, we should get people to resign from those and everywhere else. Yep, we should force people to resign. We should take away the entire system that controls. I don't understand. I consider myself somebody who can think on the fly, but it's been 7 days and I still cannot consider the idea that anyone would believe that is a good thing. I don't understand the end goal here. With the betting on the stock market crash, okay, you crash the stock market, at least you and your billionaire friends get some money. But what exactly is the benefit for dismantling our air traffic control centers, and then letting people die on plane crashes? There's no logic there. There's no way that he can possibly benefit from this. The meme coin, he gets money. The stock market, he gets money from Elon Musk illegally infiltrating the treasury, even though the man doesn't even have a security clearance. Heaven knows if he's even a U.S. citizen at this point, since he was here working on a friggin' visa that he didn't get until after his old visa expired, which made him an illegal immigrant. This man gets $900 million from the federal government a year. Kyle calls him a welfare queen. I'd say he's the welfare warlord. There's nobody who gets more welfare than that. Nearly $1 billion of our money? How exactly does that work? Okay, never mind. That helps him because now they can divert funds to whatever if they succeed, which they're probably going to, because nobody's actually checking them. There have been several lawsuits, but legal processes take time, and right now the judiciary is also quite filled with Trump loyalists, as well as the Attorney General, because Pam Bondi got confirmed for that, and she has already been investigated several times because her politics got in the way of her doing her duty as a law enforcer in the United States. So there's no point. It might just be a matter of Democrats playing defense for the next 4 years, and I don't even know how they're going to manage that since they don't have the majority in any house. Again, us adults have failed you. To any children watching this, I'm so sorry. This is our fault. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't want you to have school. I don't know why they want you to be raped in the schools. I don't know why they think that rewriting history is going to change all the terrible things that white people did. I don't know why they have such a boner for disenfranchising everybody else. So if you are a child, if you are a woman, if you are an immigrant, if you are any person of color, I'm sorry. I don't know why they want to do this. I don't understand how people like that can exist. But America allows these ideas to foster and allows them to grow in spite of the fact, because if they didn't, then it would be stomping on somebody's freedom of expression or something. That's the reason why the Ku Klux Klan is allowed to organize in some states, because it's not been outlawed. Same with Nazi ideology. It's all the same. See, the people who we classify as the good guys, they allow the bad guys to keep doing whatever they're doing so they can maintain their little idea of freedom. And then when the bad guys actually get enough money, enough resources, enough people to fight back, they're like... And that's not to say that I want to suppress them, but there should be more but there definitely should be safeguards to make sure that none of these people get to access any of our government files. Some random immigrant with no security clearance should not be able to look at anything that is restricted to only one sector of the government. That's common sense. That's not partisan. A friggin' felon should not be able to be in the United States, especially not if they are already a rapist. A felon is one thing. You can become a felon for stealing a television from a grocery store. But the fact that a rapist can even get enough popular support shows that we need more feminisms. Like, what is this? The nonprofit was a scam. His attempted school, another scam. He did at least 7 grifts during his campaign, and that's not even to consider the fact that his net worth has grown significantly from the first presidency. Everything that he's ever done has been just to get more money. He's never done anything that actually helps anyone. So I don't understand why people have this idea of him. But that's how cults work. That is how personality cults work. There is no logic involved in the concept. It is all just, it does not matter what this person does, I will serve them because they are not a person to me, they are an idea. He is the idea of something that doesn't even exist, and that negates all common sense. Meanwhile, the Democrats, they keep throwing women up there, which is great. They're qualified women. They have shining records. These people are these regular people have records that are nearly spotless because of the fact that they're regular people who came from humble beginnings. They literally so they have to make up things to complain about. They're like, oh, he's putting, like, literally the only thing that they ever said about Tim Walz, one of the people with the best records in Democrat history, my man, he's only been in politics for 12 years. Somehow he managed to get 12 weeks of paid leave. He managed to feed all the dang children. He managed to put $2 billion in education funding. Oh my gosh. He managed to increase access to voting throughout the state. It's insanity. It is insanity how much one person was able to achieve just going from the House. Did he? I think he's just been a senator. He was either a senator. Yes, he was just a senator. Senator for 8 years, governor for 4. That's it. That's what happens when somebody who wants to get things done jumps into a position of government. They're able to revitalize the entire state. Minnesota went from one state that was good but obscure to the best place to raise a family in America in a matter of years because of him. And these people were complaining because he put tampons in the restrooms of all the children, not just the boys. See, that's the difference between catering to 0.1% of the population, because there is one girl out of millions, or one boy out of millions that was born a girl, so they might need a tampon. Okay, it's literally one person, that's fine. And then you have the other side. Oh no, this one person has switched their gender. Let's introduce 500 bills in 2 months to wiping out the idea of their existence, and then let's keep attacking them for the next 5 years. Let's fight against the NCAA, take them out of the sports. Let's elect a president that has literally taken the T out of LGBT on all of the government websites. Yeah, let's just erase the entire existence of transgender people because one person out of a million didn't want to stay in their gender. Can you believe that? One person, one idea. Let's accommodate for that person so they feel welcome and they have the opportunity to thrive without getting hounded. The other, let's turn the entire freaking country against them so they don't want to exist anymore. And somehow that one person out of a million has now become a scapegoat. And now it's just all minorities. Without the protections that were required to put everyone on an even playing field, it's not just black people, it's not just Latinos who are being deported en masse, it's not just the Venezuelans who were legally brought here but who are still getting targeted, it's not just the Haitians who were legally brought here but are still getting targeted. It's not just some random Native Americans who have also been captured by ICE and then their citizenship was confirmed and they were let go, but they were still harassed and arrested. It's not just the random Hispanic Americans who've suffered the exact same thing. It's everybody. It's literally everybody, except for white men. And it's not like they have not been quiet about it either. They're not, being transparent. They've never been. They go out and they say whatever the heck they want. People are like, yeah, vulgarity, a lack of tact. Yeah, let's disrupt everything that we've established as a country because I'm dissatisfied with the idea of somebody who doesn't look like me coming up in life. I don't understand. And for most of them, for some of them, it's ignorance. They don't understand what exactly the ideology is. They may be going off based on what their friends, what their favorite social media influencer said, or whatever the heck. But that doesn't excuse anything. Because these people are still going to be the same ones to come up and say, in spite of everything, that this person is somehow the best person to represent anyone. He shouldn't be representing anybody. He literally just said that our children who are raped in schools don't need I'm sorry. It's like there are still going to be people who believe in this person. And at that point, the level of delusion that it takes to ignore all facts. Like, Republicans were already seedy to begin with because of the fact that they market to be completely free, billionaires unrestricted to monopolize everything. Like, that should already be the problem. Only one party is supported by every single corporation. They want to be mad that the celebrities, most of which who are shining examples of the American dream, as well as their own legislature, they came from nothing, they made something. And that's the vast majority of Democrats. And then Republicans, they either started off as Democrats and then got money and decided to switch up, or they were already born into great odds for life, didn't earn much of anything. Like, the Democrats are the ones fighting to take money out of politics. They're the ones fighting for term limits. The only thing Republicans want, apparently, right now is imperialism. And that's not even what Republicanism is. It's just MAGA. The regular Republicans are gone. Politics used to be who gets what, where, when, and how. It used to be regular discourse of how to solve this problem. Hey, you and I have a problem that is happening in our nation. Let's go ahead and talk about it. And now it's just a bunch of stupid social issues based on imaginary values made to scare people into believing that the boogeyman's gonna come get them. The trans people are gonna take their children. The immigrants are gonna take their jobs. that their livelihoods are somehow going to be affected by these people that do not even deal with them. And that was enough to turn America on the road to authoritarianism, because our people just aren't educated. That's it. And then they want to get mad when Vivek Ramaswamy decides to call Americans too stupid and says that we need to bring more people in. Like, the fact that this person even got this far is proof. He got rich off of an Alzheimer's cure scam. Oh my god. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. I don't understand how I do not understand how a normal human being can even think like that. I guess I don't need to, because these are not normal people. The normal person is neutral, good. These people are just, I don't know. Maybe instead of investing in getting more money, taking more money from the American people, they should just be investing in therapy. Like, I have so many great ideas for what I want to do. As a politician, as a man, as a future father, to represent everyone, but you hear about things like this and it's really discouraging. It really is. Because everything that the people that I've served have suffered, homelessness, abuse, hell, divorce, beating, raping. These are the people that I support when I go out into the community, into the soup kitchen most often, but also into other areas. People who don't have beds, people who are disabled, people who have language barriers, they have to suffer more than anybody. And yes, I'm also black, so residential segregation is a problem for my community, and is the reason, and the drastic shifts in culture that were introduced by white people to drag us down into a state of ignorance where we could be controlled. Yeah, that's also a problem. I've been holding these Cheerios for like 20 minutes, but I haven't had to suffer that. And I feel like because I've had a better hand dealt in life, mostly due to the military kind of boosting us up in life, that it is my civic duty to serve the people who didn't have the luxuries that I have. And I just feel like that's the normal mentality for people. Because people are inherently good. It's just the worst people, the people who are willing to slaughter, who are willing to silence their opposition, who get the power to make the decisions. History is written by the winners. That's just how it is. And it sucks, but there's not really much that I can do about it. It did not take me long at all to write all of the important assignments down, so now I'm literally just talking. The thing is, I have to get back to work in like 10 minutes anyway, so as much as I want to keep talking, I may as well just pack it up, because I don't want to be late. It just sucks. People are gonna see all the facts laid out to them on a silver platter, the same silver platter they've been fed their whole lives, and they're just gonna ignore it. It's like, these are the people who are somehow ruining my life, the people who have nothing to do with it, the people who were not the cause of any suffering that you've endured in your upbringing, but you want to blame them for everything because, I don't know, delusion. It's all just delusion. That's what the entire ideology is. The entire MAGA thing is nothing but delusion. It happens when values override facts, and these values that are so malleable that they can be altered by the decisions, by the desires, by the opinions of some man, some central idea. It doesn't make sense. Nothing about it makes sense. And I'm not giving up. I will never give up. I would rather die than give up. I will get into this government, and I will work towards fixing it so whatever the hell this is does not have to ruin the future of my children. But I'm just sorry. I'm so sorry to the young people out there, because we failed you. Every single one of us has failed you. And I've never once conformed to it, because I grew out of that strongman mentality when I was 15 years old. Like, I went through a phase like it, but I was kind of clinically depressed, so I was a teenager. Teenagers are supposed to be hormonal and a little stupid, and I didn't hurt anybody. I just got over it as I got older and wiser, because that's what people are supposed to do. They're not supposed to carry that mentality through their entire lives and use it to rally people around some idea that doesn't exist, and then use their money to get into political offices and ruin everybody's lives. That's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to get the hell over it and shut up and move on. That's what you do with harmful mentalities like that. But now we're here. So it is what it is. I hope that Gen Alpha can grow up smarter than Gen Z, because we had everything at our fingertips, and somehow we're still lagging behind. And older people are more likely to vote, yes, I'll admit that, but Gen Z was supposed to be the politically aware, and our men, they're letting us down. They're letting us down a lot. So it's not looking too good for us. Then again, we are still young. When we take over the government, maybe things will be better. Until then, we just gotta wait and see. You are loved, you are appreciated, you're gonna do amazing things. Delta. Peace. There we go.